Hello everyone and welcome to Oxygen Not Included. My name is Sevens, and if you're familiar with this channel, normally I play all kinds of different games, and I normally have the approach of doing whatever I want to do and getting up to no good. But for this series, we're going to try something a little bit different. Oxygen Not Included, including the DLC as well, is a very complex game. In some ways, it seems more like doing that science test that no one studied for back in high school. In that, a lot of the concepts that you use have a scientific explanation based on the game itself, and it gets really complicated. What we're going to be doing in this series is a little bit different. This series is going to give you guys the basic tools, concepts, and understanding that you would need to get started. A lot of the concepts are things that I learned through brute force and watching other guides. This course will be a great choice for those who are just starting out with the game and are looking for an easy baseline understanding of how to get started. In today's episode, we're going to be covering some general game concepts that will help you get familiar with how the game's internal systems and things work with one another. This will include, for today's video, we are covering a few of the general game concepts that you should familiar yourself with when getting started. This includes understanding that everything you do will influence something else, that your duplicants will need a reliable source of food, oxygen, and hygiene to survive, and that everything you construct and build will connect with one another. So let's begin with the idea that everything that you will do in Oxygen Not Included, as well as the DLC, will influence something else. Let's take Frankie here right now. Frankie is a chef. His main goal for this game, in my colony, is for him to provide food for everybody else. This is the electric grill, and prior to researching that, you will have the microbe musher. I'm going to go ahead and build the microbe musher. The microbe musher is what most people would begin using when they are trying to cook. So Frankie, if he just started out, would have began using the microbe musher, and more than likely would be making mush bars. As I said earlier, everything influences everything, which is kind of crazy to imagine, but it is true. So the mush bar is what most people will start out making when they are brand new to the game for food. It takes dirt and water. I won't go into detail about numbers unless it's extremely necessary in this course, but just as a general understanding, the microbe musher will take dirt and water. This means that you will need to make a pitcher pump that is inside a source of water. This can look like this, for example, and it'll have little offshoots like this to pick up water. Making a mush bar will provide 800 calories worth of food, and if we take, let's say, Frankie again, it shows right under condition how many calories he currently has consumed. And it's going down pretty quickly, and it shows how many calories he will consume in a cycle. So what this means is by making the mush bar, it'll provide 800 calories, which is great, but you'll be losing dirt and water. Dirt you'll get a lot of by just simply digging around. This is what dirt looks like. But at the beginning, water's finite. You only have a piece of it. So it's important to consider that even though a microbe musher is what you will need to get started, you will eventually run out of water, probably sooner than you will run out of dirt. So everything you build, you need to realize that although it solves one problem, it can create another one. This leads to the other thing that I was talking about, the number 2 thing that we're going to cover in today's episode, what your duplicants need. They need food, and it's ideal to make sure that you just keep getting food made. They also need oxygen. When you're starting out, you can build an oxygen diffuser. I'm going to pause there real quick. An oxygen diffuser requires a duplicant to go give it algae. So once again, the first lesson, everything connects with everything, and everything has an impact with everything, is applicable again. Algae is finite. I have it saved right here. I'll teach you guys how to do that later, but it shows how much algae I currently have. This solution will work temporarily, but you won't be able to use it forever. Having a duplicant come and feed it oxygen, you see that it starts pumping out oxygen, which does solve this issue of needing oxygen to live. But if you pull up the power tab, it shows that it is using 120 watts of power. In a later course, I'll go into detail about how to create a basic power grid. And then you have hygiene. I feel like hygiene is quite useful, and most of the time when I start my colonies, I try to get to this step. You have clean water coming in that fills up these, and you have polluted water right here. Trying to zoom in for you guys. You have polluted water leaving. Going from here and covering food, oxygen, and hygiene, we lead into the final thing for this video, and that is systems. Every system connects to another system. Clean water has to go into each of these devices, as I just said, and when any of our duplicants use it, polluted water leaves. When polluted water leaves, you have to put it somewhere. You can put it in a chamber like this, or you can redirect it to a water sieve. And a water sieve will convert it from polluted water, like right here, into regular water. But this too influences everything as well. A water sieve requires sand. Currently, I do not have a means to generate more sand. So this means that eventually I'll run out of sand. Taking these 3 concepts with you in developing your own colony will help, because you'll understand that everything you build influences one another. Freely building everything infinitely and expanding too quickly often leads to colonies dying rather quickly. I will go into more depth in future courses about how you can get started and things that you can use as tips and advice. If there's a particular topic you'd like me to try to tackle, let me know in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Have a great one. Bye.